Humans' worth in a post-apocalyptic society is determined by a number imprinted on their bodies. They will be dragged into a pit of darkness if it ever reaches 0. Hina witnesses her mother being dragged into the abyss, but only after receiving a glass orb containing 10,000 inside and instructing her to seek out the legendary ace with the white star. Hina searches for 5 years before meeting Licht, a masked perverted idiot, and his boss, Nana, who explains that all orders must be obeyed by anyone with a higher number. Hina says her number, 441, represents the 44,100 kilometers she's walked. When she meets him, a sergeant major with a star on his face claims to be the ace. He molests her until she reveals the 10,000 orb, which he misidentifies as a ballot, and steals. Hina orders him to stop because she has a higher number. However, he dupes her into a star stake, a duel in which they bet on their respective numbers, and after crushing her, he takes 440 from her, leaving her with only 1. Because the legend of the ace is 300 years old, he reveals that he is not the ace, who has long since died. Licht unexpectedly appears and bets his own number, -999. As they fight, the sergeant realizes that such a number is impossible, unless Licht is a ballot holder with a numbered ballot, which he can use to artificially raise his number above 0. Licht reveals himself to be Licht Bach, the true legendary ace, with a white star and 57 defeated foes printed on his sword. A global conflict known as the Waste War raged several centuries ago. The Aces were a group of warriors who distinguished themselves with superhuman feats of strength, only to vanish when the war ended. Licht's super speed allows him to easily defeat the soldiers, demonstrating that his footsteps can shatter the ground. Nana explains that while 57 represents his defeated opponents, -999 represents the number of women who have rejected him. Licht easily defeats the sergeant, reducing his number to 1 and returning Hina's plus some. Licht steals Hina's 10,000 ballots in exchange for a stuffed doll. Hina is heartbroken over the loss of her mother's memento. Nana later reveals that because ballots are illegal, Licht hid the ballot in the doll and pretended to steal it in front of witnesses, so the soldiers will only search for him and leave Hina alone. Hina begs Licht not to leave, but when he ignores her pleadings, she yells that she despises him, raising his score from -999 to -1000. The army disregards Hina and begins searching for Licht, believing he has the ballot. Sergeant Pielpaporo and Master Sergeant Lin May are stationed in a peaceful village, where Lin spends her time volunteering and increasing her count based on the number of needy people she assists. Lin apprehends a nearby masked man who, coincidentally, is Licht based on a description of him. He maintains his anonymity, however, by revealing his -1000 and crying over the women who rejected him. Lin attempts to make Licht feel better by setting them up on a pity date, despite Peel's terrible advice. Lin's count rises as a result of Licht's typical groping behavior, as the groping makes the perverted Licht feel better. Lin takes off Licht's mask to reveal his true identity. Licht steals her sword only to discover Lin is also a martial artist. During their brief argument, she becomes so agitated by Licht's flirting that he escapes when she closes her eyes expecting a kiss, much to her chagrin. When Licht reappears, she pursues him through the village, where several misunderstandings lead the villagers to believe she and Licht are having a lover's quarrel, and Licht flees once more when she complains that her uniform always exposes her underwear. Hina decides she needs to warn Licht about Lieutenant Murdoch, but she can't because they need to rebuild Nana's wagon first. When Murdoch and his soldiers suddenly attack Lin, Licht saves him. Murdoch's number is revealed to be 900, along with his ballot, which allows him to create iron weapons, hence his nickname Iron Jail. Licht is taken aback, and Murdoch reveals that he is hiding his true number, which is 12,500, which is more than double that of Licht. Murdoch obtains Licht's sword, but he returns it. He reveals that his number represents his convictions, and that his convictions strengthen his unbreakable iron weapons. He traps Licht, forcing him to surrender. Murdoch accuses Licht of being a soldier based on his fighting style. After Licht refuses to answer, Murdoch decides to torture him, but Lin intervenes and is injured. Murdoch chastises Lin for her refusal to punish criminals in favor of her charitable work. Licht breaks free from his shackles, revealing that he has always been capable of breaking the Murdoch's iron grip. As he and Murdoch demonstrate their true abilities, Licht demands an apology for assuming Lin is lazy, despite the fact that she consistently outworks everyone. Lin falls after their fight collapses a cliff, and Murdoch tries to catch her, but Licht catches her first. He manages to insult her, enrage her, and reduce his count to -1001. Then he hands her over to Murdoch, who allows him to flee. Hina and Nana find Licht and inform him that all roads have been blocked following his battle with Iron Jail Murdoch. Hina appears to be envious of Licht's fight for another woman and chastises him for abandoning her. Licht feels compelled to save Pelmo from a fatal fall from an experimental plane. Despite the fact that researching flight is a capital offense, Pelmo asks Licht and Hina to assist her in realizing her dream of flight. Despite Hina's praise, Licht modifies her most recent design, but he is concerned that he has put her in danger. Hina inquires about Licht's dream, but he refuses to reveal it, instead stating that he wishes to see her underwear. Pelmo interrupts after finishing the new plane. When soldiers arrive, Licht is forced to destroy the aircraft. After concluding that the wings were simply damaged windmill sails, the soldiers leave. Pelmo reveals that her count was based on her dreams coming true, but it decreased with each failure of her planes, and it has now reached 0. Hina tries to save her, but the Abyss is implacable. When the Abyss strikes Licht's sword as he tries to save Hina, he has a violent flashback. Pelmo joyfully enters the Abyss, convinced that it is not death but the gateway to another world, and promises to return one day. Licht is almost knocked out as numbers flash in his left eye. Licht considers leaving, but decides to stay after Hina requests that he stay in her sleep. Lin apprehends Licht, thanks him for saving her, and then attempts to arrest him. After meeting, Lin and Hina exchange stories about Licht and become enraged with him. They come across a wounded soldier from a nearby town that has been completely destroyed. Murdoch discovers no survivors. The lake next to town has vanished beneath a massive chasm. According to a wounded soldier, a fire-breathing demon emerged from the abyss. Murdoch insists that it must be a firefighter voter. Lin and Peel take the soldier to the next town for medical attention, where they meet Licht, Hina, and Nana. Murdoch confronts Licht, believing he knows something. Nana forbids them from fighting, so they instead compete in a drinking contest. Murdoch, who is inebriated, accuses Licht of being the legendary ace, and demands to know why the army is looking for him. Licht incites Murdoch to drink even more, and Nana decides to join him. After only one glass of wine, Lin becomes inebriated and inquires about Hina's relationship with Licht. Licht and Murdoch eventually pass out. Lin and Hina both try to convince Licht to use their laps as pillows. The lake abyss appears out of nowhere, destroying a portion of the town and emitting a strange sound. While Licht detects the sound, Murdoch orders the evacuation of the civilians. He claims that the sound cannot exist because all demons of this type were defeated during the Waste War. As he and Murdoch watch, the abyss opens, revealing the demon to be a modern helicopter armed with machine guns and missiles. As the helicopter attacks, Licht orders everyone to take cover, but Murdoch objects to Licht taking command. Licht reveals that he is a colonel, attracting the helicopter's attention, while Murdoch is perplexed as to how a criminal could be a colonel. Everyone starts cheering as Licht attacks the helicopter, but the abyss stops him. Lin reveals that the military calls the abyss's arms Althing. While Licht attacks Althing, he attempts to seize the helicopter, but the attack repeatedly stuns him. Murdoch declines Hina's request for help because assaulting Althing is a capital offense, and he will not allow anyone to break the law. Murdoch, on the other hand, accidentally loses his glasses. Murdoch attacks Althing, unable to see any violations of the law, and all of the soldiers go blind at the same time. They build a ladder for Licht to climb into the helicopter, but he is startled when he enters the cockpit. Sonohara Mizuka, the homicidally insane ace of pursuit with the number 32,000, shoots down the helicopter. She shoots Murdoch and begins murdering everyone, revealing her obsession with carrying out Licht's final order during the Waste War, which was to murder everyone. Sonohara reveals Licht's real name is Rahito, and she demands that he revert to his previous bloodthirsty personality and kill her, or she will kill a nearby child. Licht snaps and murders her men in such a hurry that their bodies vanish. Licht finally tells Hina and Murdoch who he is. He is the Plunderer, and he wants to take over the entire nation. Licht and Sonohara engage in a star stake, during which Licht is shot in the chest multiple times. Licht violently emits a red power, increasing the number on his sword to 57,000, and he starts moving so fast that Sonohara can't see him. Nana reveals that Schmelman, a malevolent alternate personality, has taken over Licht. Sonohara is defeated by Schmelman, and her count falls to 16,000, leading Nana to believe that she, too, was influenced by an evil personality. Nana explains that Sonohara was the kindest of the aces and had never killed anyone. However, she must have been drugged in order to fight Licht in the hopes that Schmelman would emerge. Hina desperately embraces him, prompting Schmelman to almost kill her, but Sonohara saves her. Schmelman recalls a time in modern Japan when she and Licht were in high school together. Despite the bullet in his chest, Murdoch stops Schmelman and challenges him. Schmelman breaks down in tears and declares that he kills enemies so that his friends do not have to. Murdoch, deciding to honor this, fights with all his might, transforming himself into an Iron Warrior, and knocking out Schmelman, transforming him back into Licht. Murdoch loses consciousness as a result of his injury. General Schmelman Bach tells several children an alternate, darker version of the tortoise and the hare, and one of his soldiers reveals his name. While Licht is reclaiming his star stake with Sanohara, his unfinished business with Althing prevents him from leaving, and he begins molesting the girls, excluding Hina. Murdoch is summoned by Supreme Commander Alexandrov Gregorovich, Murdoch's childish but adoring adoptive father. Murdoch wants to know about Sanohara's black-clad soldiers. Gregorovich reveals that they are the Special Services Unit, or SSU, which provides the royal family with spies, kidnappers, and assassins. Regarding Licht, according to Gregorovich, who reveals the aces to be surgically modified human weapons for the waste wars, Licht was the strongest member of the strongest squad. The surgery had the unintended consequence of preventing the aces from aging, which explains why Licht is still alive. Gregorovich unexpectedly reveals that Murdoch's number has been reduced to 12,499 and demands to know where Licht is. Murdoch lies. The figure falls to 12,498, and Gregorovich admits that he, too, knows who attacked Althing. Murdoch returns to arrest Licht, who surrenders voluntarily. A nearby espion reveals that they want Licht to continue plundering. Before attempting to arrest Licht, Licht asks Murdoch a series of questions to determine if he is being blackmailed. Murdoch repeatedly lies, reducing his number to 12,496. Donna reveals that she is an ace and sends Murdoch, Hina, Peel, and Lin to modern Japan, pleading with them to change the past where she failed. Sanohara and Licht, then known as Rihido, are Japanese high school students. They are confronted by a delinquent after following Rihido into the school, at which point Murdoch realizes his ballot is missing and he can no longer control iron. Captain Allen and Lieutenant Firende explain that Japan is the only country left after a global war, and that the school is actually a military academy. Major Schmelman, the headmaster, begins by reading his adaptation of The Tortoise and the Hare before ordering Allen to shoot 3 recruits who are laughing. Rihido refuses to break Schmelman's neck and instead offers to die in Hina's place, ignoring Schmelman's lethal aura. Firende calms the situation by revealing that the recruits are still alive as a result of Allen's use of paint bullets to demonstrate the importance of obeying orders. Schmelman is intrigued by Rihido's potential, whereas Murdoch is puzzled by the fact that Rihido is clearly a young Licht but does not resemble his future self. Peel tries to do online research on Althing but is stopped. Instead, Allen explains that Althing was an unknown super-advanced technology that crashed to Earth during the war. It had the power to force all humans to obey its will in response to a vote, so humanity voted to destroy nuclear weapons and ban all war. However, there were unintended consequences that Allen refuses to discuss. Murdoch begins to suspect that Nana, in addition to assisting Licht, wants them to discover the true origin of Althing and save their future society. This was it for today. Subscribe to my channel to watch more recaps.